Are you ready? Yeah? So thank you everyone for joining to this panel discussion. So we had a great journey today about digitalization, so I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks again to the MDKU Association for inviting me and organizing this panel discussion. What I want to do mainly first is mainly to ask some questions to the audience, to the presenters here, and maybe we can open the round of discussion with the audience if you are fine. So the first question I wanted to have is for Karim. So Karim, we looked at this E-star, North Star model, etc. that we have. First, do we consider that digitalization, or it's because you said mainly that it's just a PDF file that you are filling, and you are software developer since like now maybe nearly 20 years. So have we really moved forward, or we are still at the same place?
So I would say yes, we moved forward, but much too slow, right? So it's also something I would say special German. I read a few weeks ago a LinkedIn post also where digitalization in Germany and everything, you can have everything on the iPhone, but we print out our tickets because sicher ist sicher. This is digitalization in Germany somehow, and this was already 20 years ago, and this is still somehow the mindset change, but does not happen. So people does not trust in digital tools, and also I remember during the COVID period, I think every company has a digital signature, all the validations, but also those people in regulatory who has a signature stamp. No one was considering this, but about digital tools, we always think too complicated, I would say.
Okay. Is this specific to Germany, or are we talking about worldwide? Or
I can only speak to German because I lived in Germany, and so I think this is very special here. When I go to other countries, when you go to China, for example, you have everything digital, right? So you use WeChat you can do everything with WeChat, and no one has any paper with them. Or in Estonia, I know, for example, this is also, when you are closer here, you have a digital ID, and we are here. We love paper.
And is safety engaged on those countries? Like, do we have more issues, more problems, more?
I don't think so that this is related to digitalization.
Okay. And we talked about China, so digitalization China. We saw a lot of things about that with your phones, as you've said, etc. We see also that they are going really beyond in terms also of collection of data, using those data, and maybe putting some restrictions. So is this something that we maybe can see also here in Europe?
So I think digitalization was one topic, right? So it's a long time ago. And what did we do in Germany or in Europe? We make the Data Privacy Act, what is much complicated. Now each website has this 1,000 checkboxes. This is a European mindset of digitalization, I would say.
To put more, I mean, try to be more secure by putting more work, if I can say, on it directly. Great, thank you. Sarah, I had a question for you for your presentation. So you had already made this journey within your company to digitalization. So if you had to look back now, I mean, I don't know how long it took, but mainly if you had to look back now, would you do exactly the same thing? Was there any mistakes and maybe something that the audience can learn from it and not do it?
Yes, of course, I will do there something different. Of course, learning is every time the same. I personally would prefer to search for more sponsorship. So,
money or?
No, so in the higher management, of course, there are more supporters who are able also to bring their opinion in and to engage also such projects, to support the volunteers which work in such projects. And also, I don't want to combine this any longer with MDR. So everybody in the organization have in mind digitalization is just an MDR topic and we don't need to care in other countries. So it was really hard to train them as well that we talk about a general topic and not a special MDR topic.
Okay, and you had this journey on digitalization. Do you see, we are on the medical device field, we talk about that on this conference, etc. So is there any other fields that are also on this journey, or we are late, or at which level we are in comparison to maybe the other, like banking or car company, or?
I think we are on the starting point. So having a look into other industries as well. We are a little bit behind, of course. But yes, finally, we are on the way. So first step, first improvements. All the big companies currently care about ERP system change. As I read there an article some months ago, it was told that Germany especially stay with the same ERP system 15 years. So after 15 years, there is the first opportunity to change the ERP system. So if this is true, then we are on a good way.
Okay, no, I think it's a great point. Denise, we had your presentation now about RQM Plus and your journey by not building, if I can say, but acquiring some companies. Do you think that now, for maybe manufacturers or other consulting firm or anybody, is the IT department really one of the most important departments to work with in the future? Is it like the asset, the new asset of a company? I don't talk about managing your servers or buying computer. It's more about
the technology.
Exactly, technology part. Yeah.
Well, I mean, maybe for us, it felt like a necessary step to do, right? And I also know some other consultancy that walked up to us and said, "Why the heck are you doing this? You're actually not charging 10 hours to the customer anymore. Now you charge 5. You're losing money, not making money." So that's one way to look at it. But I think if we don't start doing it and being more efficient, someone else do. So that's kind of the approach we took to say it's just the next logical thing to do. But yeah, each system you bring in-house also costs maintenance, right? So it's easy to think like, hey, let's just purchase the software and we use it, and that's the one-off cost, but it's not a one-off cost, right? You have to maintain it. You have, we're using like an AI software. You need computing power. You need storage. This is all, a cost item. So I think it's more an investment to some extent, right? To kind of make more sense out of the offering. But if someone thinks that's the right move to make more money, I can tell you for now it's not. Right now we're getting better and we're getting attraction from customers saying, you figured out a way to make it more efficient. Okay. So let's talk about it. Yeah.
Okay. And we are talking about manufacturers, service providers. Do you think that if we are putting pressure or trying to push the manufacturers to digitalize, but not also the other economic operators, it can also maybe fail?
I think we're in this together, right? Yeah. I mean, the consultancies don't make a penny if the manufacturers are not there, right? I mean, I think it has to go hand in hand to some extent. And that's why I was saying, like, I think you can, as a manufacturer, kind of really give direction on where you want your vendors, your partners to go, right? With their software they use or their products they use. Because it's ultimately, we're doing it for them, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think we're in this together. That's how I see it.
Okay, so it's beneficial M&D for both that. Okay. Sarah, I have looked at your presentation about the open source data model. Okay. When I heard open source, I thought, okay, it's like the software industry before or the software before. Like open source means I will put it on the internet and I have a lot of people that will come and put their small snippets here, put their, contributing. So is this that kind of open source model? Like I can come and contribute on your model and add a small thing here or change a small thing there?
Yeah, that's a good question, Monir. And we talked a lot about the license model that we need here. And it's definitely not the kind of open source that you mentioned here. But the idea was that it's a data model that is developed from the community for the community, and we want to provide it for free. And as I have shown, we also have kind of a hierarchy here. And we want to provide a general hierarchy that is applicable for the different medical device types. And let's say that way, the foundation of that data model shouldn't be changed when a medical device company applies it, because it doesn't make sense, because we want to agree on the data model for manufacturers and also notified bodies. But it could be that a specific company decides that they need additional layers in the hierarchy for their products to have more level here, right? We have decided that we need a specific license type here. Honestly, I'm not an expert for that, so I have a colleague here, Holger Brunner, and he did some research, and he also discussed that license with DIN because it's part of the agreement that we have here. But important is it will be provided for free.
Okay. So when we say for free, means we can go to your website, we'll learn from this model or look for this model and I can download something? Or
exactly.
Because I just want to be practical to people. Exactly. What are we talking here for free?
Yeah, PDF file.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
just kidding. No, it will be, well, we discussed also the different formats that we need. And right now we said it will be an XML file for sure. Okay. So a bit similar to the files that IMDF provides for the IMDF codes here. But maybe also JSON files. So let's see what the community needs in the future. And it will be provided probably on our website, but maybe also on the DIN website, board website. This is what we have to discuss and then decide where you can find the data. Okay. But you don't have to pay for it.
Okay, still in progress then. Markus, we talk about, I try to pick some keywords here. Sure. Speed, efficiency, quality, compliance, productivity. This is what we get as a promise, if I can say, with digitalization from many sessions that I looked at. So if I get this as a reward, if I can say, so why we have a lot of manufacturers that are still not moving to that? Why I meet still manufacturers that are on the paper-based as a consultant? So they come to me and they show me some papers that they have. So why we are not already on this journey here for some of them?
I mean, that's a really great question, right? Because it will involve, from my perspective, also a mindset shift, right? If we speak about digital mindset and also a cultural mindset within the companies. And it depends where you are on the journey, how much pressure you are feeling, and driving this really forward. So I think that it is coming, but until some time ago, it was doable within the parameters to operate like that, but the pressure to change is increasing. So, and I think we see this more and more because it's not only efficiency, but I also think that our subject matter experts, that doesn't make them happy every day to generate a PDF document, right? I'm not in the industry to say like, it made me so happy yesterday, I created 10 PDFs, right? But there are a lot of highly skilled people. They want to they didn't come to this industry, also when you think about clinical evaluation writing, to copy paste the information. They want to do really thinking stuff, right? Drawing conclusions. And I would like to enable them to come to work that they have a really purpose and make that actually happen. And the software should do the rest. And I think that is some part that should not be forgotten. But it's going to change slowly, but it's coming.
Okay. And is the period of the coronavirus helped also to move this?
Yes, it has helped. Things that were difficult in the past are now totally accepted. I have an example where in the past, right, we had documents that were digital, like Word files or PDFs, but then you had to sign them. And we didn't have, we had some tools, but not like a corporate standard tool where we can all digitally fully compliant sign. And we have implemented that, and that was implemented, I think, with high speed because we needed it to function as a global corporation. And that definitely, there was no question if that is going to be implemented. It was implemented to keep us going because we needed to be compliant at that time and to enable that. And today it is, nobody is going to question that anymore, right? This is established. And now everybody is saying, oh, do you put this in this tool? Okay, fine. And then send it over to me and everybody has access to this.
Great. We talk about also the journey of digitalization. Is it a never-ending journey? Because in the 1980s, we talked about the move to a fax, then to scanning a document, then to send documents per email, which is digitalization also for maybe some people. Then we move to PDF filling that we can fill directly, etc. So now we move to those applications. Is the AI, for example, the next revolution that we will be talking about at the next MEDXD, maybe?
Yeah, I think that we are on a journey, and this journey is not ending. So this is kind of also, again, the mindset, right? This digital transformation, and I think Erika this morning explained that also in her talk, you're changing something, it turns into a new product, you have digitally transformed the product, but then there's new barriers, there's new obstacles that come out of result of that, and then you need to continue to improve that one, that part as well. So to believe that you are finished at some point, that is, I think, something that we need to overcome. And therefore, I think the change management is also such an important role, because for me, change and adaptation is the new normal, and you need it to be successful.
Okay. Just maybe a question to everyone quickly. We talk about digitalization as being an asset with a lot of benefits and everything. Can you try to give me one threat of digitalization and how maybe we can avoid to have this threat?
I think for me, it's the assumption you can switch off your brain just because there's something digital, right? And AI is the best example of it. It's not fixing everything. It's helping you, and only by learning the tool, it makes you better. So I think that for me is a threat, that people think, oh, I just need less people. I have some processes automated, I just flow with it. I think that's not going to happen. That's a threat if people think that way and make the investments in that direction.
So. Yeah, and some technologies are really powerful. So you can do a lot with technology, but if you don't know what you would like to do with it, right? So the use case is very important, that you first think about the use case and then also like a strategy. What do I really want to achieve? Then you can lose yourself in the technology and waste time for implementation of small functionalities. But if they are really helpful at the end for the users, that's another question here.
And in terms of cybersecurity, Karim, maybe something? No?
I think we have enough panic about ChatGPT. So, for example, this is how it works at our company. So there was an announcement, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, how dangerous ChatGPT should be. We shouldn't use it. Instead of training the people, educate the people, because I would say in the future, this is something what we have to learn with. And if you are always be, let's say, thinking about what can go wrong with digitalization, then you are in the end too slow. And maybe this is what Sarah said in the beginning, you need to be open for change, right? So there is AI coming. It's not a threat. Let's take it as a chance. So you have to adapt it. It's the same as with, I don't know, when you have kids. So when should they use a smartphone? So it's now intuitive that they have touch screens and everything. Is it a risk or is it the future? So I think it's more philosophically, but so I don't think that there are much, not more risk than paper, right? So
yeah, okay.
You can also cut your finger on a paper.
Exactly.
So very dangerous thing.
Okay, so maybe let's open to the floor if you have any questions. So I hope I didn't ask you all the questions possible, that we have still some people that are interested. So anybody for a question? No? Here?
How do I get the difference? How do I get the different stakeholders in my company on board that they want to do this investment? How do I get the upper management on board? How do I get quality management on board? What are the goodies that I can show them to say, yeah, look, this is a journey that will be very expensive, will be a lot of work. We are all very relaxed because the MDR was absolutely no work. Nobody is overworked for MDR. We really don't know why it's expanded until 28 or something. You know, we've been finished from day one on, more or less. So now we're coming to this next big thing, a lot of work for everybody. How do I get them to buy in?
So yeah, maybe Sarah, as you had this journey and you had convinced your management for that, so how have you done?
Yeah, so of course it's no black and white and no easy answer. As we have the discussion very often also in our organization, and I have this discussion last week as well, it's important to understand where your management or your board is. So stepping in their shoes. So are they more focusing from did they come by intent from manufacturing? So are they production focused? Are they R&D innovation focused? So what is the driver? Try to understand their thinking about why should they buy in? So getting in their shoes, try to understand it, and think about argumentation and try it with peers, of course, what the argumentation is, and then bring it bring it into the important meeting. So of course, started with smaller ones and then going for the big one. So this is the only thing which I can recommend.
Maybe as an add-on to that one, I think, so what I'm trying to do is identify the clear business problem that you're trying to solve. What is really the problem that you're trying to focus on, and not like, oh, we just need another software tool. Another software tool will do nothing. But what is actually the business problem that and that will help you? And then what I learned is make like bite-sized chunks. Don't try to, digitalize too much in one way, but maybe a proof of concept that this works, then start small, that you can also show that you are generating business value. Because I'm like thinking, if somebody is just saying like, we need the technology for the sake of technology, that doesn't convince me and my team. Because I think within my teams that I'm working with, they're saying, what's in for me, right? The business user is saying like, what does it do for me at the end? And if that is a convincing case, you get their buy-in, and they will also speak to other people. But we're trying to keep it small size initially, that you can also show that you can do something, and then you build on those successes.
I would partially agree and partially disagree, because when you say start small, what we often see at Avasis is that the overall digital strategy is missing. So that different departments buy different software tools, right? But at the end, the integration and the overall digitalization strategy is missing. So I would say the best way is for sure that the management is aware that the company requires digitalization to be competitive in the future, and then develops a strategy for the different departments that you have. Best way, right? But I would agree that typically in the daily life, we see the small project to demonstrate, hey, look what the benefit could be. And then based on that example, you can convince people that it is really helpful and that they understand the business case here.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that you should do this like behind doors or in a hidden group and not make it transparent. Because you can work, in our case, with solution architects within the company that they see this would fit in a bigger strategy. But still, you don't, I'm not saying like, you could say like, I want to improve the end-to-end product lifecycle management process from ideation until product decommission. Yeah, okay, that product will immediately fail because you will never revolutionize the end-to-end process right from the start, even if you have the company strategy on top of it, because it's just too big. You can't swallow this at once. but you can have a vision and a strategy and then develop a plan where you get, how do you get from A to B, but still work with manageable pieces of that part. You can't do so many things in parallel because you only have limited money, limited resources, and start somewhere. And then, but because if you only work 3 or 4 years and nobody sees the value, and I think we had that in some talks, right? You need to deliver a software project also within a meaningful time. If you come back and after 5 years, that's too slow. Then everything already, the world in medical device and the requirements have changed and the product is already outdated.
So I think we have here a lot of quality and regulatory affairs people that maybe participated also to audits with a notified body that is coming, that is auditing, and that is providing you a big list of non-conformities, which can be sometimes for some certain company a catastrophe. So is this also, if I can say, the right moment to explain that maybe having a digital tool can help on this problem or that problem? As you said, finding really the problem and the solution, but is it like the right moment also to raise your hand and say, here is a tool that I can write? Karim?
Yeah, well, you know, in my former company, Athera Medical, which was a startup at that point, we implemented in 2014 the first digitalized processes for product development. And then over the time of 3-4 years, we implemented more and more processes in a digitalized way. And we realized during the audits that we had less and less non-conformities related to things like, hey, there's not the right version of that format used, or the date of the signature was not correct. So those not really valuable non-conformities were totally eliminated for those processes. And that was really fascinating. And what we get were non-conformities for really important issues. So we learned a lot. And the audit itself changed, so it was much faster. Which could also be a disadvantage because at the end we were sitting there and the auditor says, well, okay, we have 2 more hours. What can I have a look at? But the focus of the audit changed and that helped a lot. And the notified bodies were also really impressed how much easier the audit was.
Karim?
Yeah, I think this is something where we are in this room. So in this regards, I would wish to have a regulation that we have to submit something in the format. So like it is with the ESTA. So it's now mandatory. So there is no discussion in our company, oh, should I use this PDF or this PDF? Should I use this tool or this tool? So if there is something like for example, the MDKU, if they become really regulated, not only standard that, for example, our notified body is saying, I expect this from you now. This works, I would say.
So having the regulators telling you you should make that happen is also a good,
so
good
if
motivation.
This becomes more, let's say, in the regulation of the MDR, mandatory that you have to submit something digital or things. I think the only hint that the MDR is looking in this direction is this small sentence in Annex 2 that that you need searchable documents and everything like this, but there is nothing about digitalization in the MDR.
Good. Any other question? Yeah, Florian?
Yeah, coming back to the question, how do I get the money and how do I start implementing? So what do I do if I don't have a solution architect in my company, because I am the only regulatory person and the quality person and the clinical person?
So I tried to answer, because in the beginning we also didn't have there so much resources from the IT department or from other departments. So we are starting more likely from the poor quality regulatory and clinical part. What did we do? We learned from the companies, like I explained in the beginning. So we invited us different companies and for showcasing their software. We learned a lot about the terminology. We learned a lot of what was good or even not fitting our expectations or even the expectations from all participants. We make the group bigger and bigger. and decided for some special cases, looked definitely just in risk management as an example, and focusing on risk management, or just focusing on another topic. So we are really make it from a very big one to a very small one, and then starting to to understand what could be the software, what could be the value from the software, and then we are starting with the next process, and then we look for 2 or 3 processes, and if this software really fits to our values for our purposes. Yeah.
So in terms of money, I don't know if we can talk about money here, but
yeah, of course. So you need to talk about money.
Exactly, but how much are we talking about? 5,000 euro? I'm talking about 1 million, about 10 million. I mean,
I can't talk really about money.
I just want some kind of range, if I can say. What should I ask to my boss, for example?
Yeah, of course, you can create the different business cases. Yeah, so you can start to ask for what is the cheapest version, and what does it bring for the company in general. Yeah, and what is the value of the highest version? Did you recommend this, or if you recommend the middle? So something like this. So you have to find your own strategy. It's nothing that you can.
Should I, is my strategy, if I want to propose strategy, should I give it bit by bit?
No.
No?
So, of course, you can start.
Because as I think this morning, the question was also, okay, there is a software, but there is a training of people. There is the consultant that maybe will come to transfer everything. There is.
Yeah, of course. So, yes, you need to be transparent on the cost of the software. Did you consider everything? No, because you can't. Yeah. So finally, you don't know what really expert did you need, who's the software developer you need from the IT department and from other departments which come in finally to help you in the project. What you can do is there is a price which you get from the company, from the software company, which helps you to digitalize the software. And then firstly, you have to trust on it. You have to make your requirements, you have to prove your requirements, you have to make their showcase, and if you have the impression that also the cost expectation fits to what you get finally, then you can go there and ask for more.
And Florian talked about the fact that it started with quality or regulatory affairs.
So
is it also a problem for the other department that says, it was not my decision, it was not my choice, I don't like this thing, even if it's the best tool, but it's not, you didn't involve the others?
It depends on the company, I would say. Yeah, so of course, my understanding from quality is also, or could be a little bit broader than in others. I want to enable the business. I want to be part on the business. I want to help that we can finally bring their good devices or software solutions or whatever into the market as a medical device. So if I have this in mind, and if I want really to support this, then I have to do this like I did it. So I have to go for it, and I have to decide and to help. And it could be also that in R&D department would go first. Yeah, then I have to support the R&D department in this case. It's not a discussion about the department, it's a discussion about the need.
Right. Any other questions?
No, Monir, maybe something to add to that one. I think how I see that is that it's no longer any more business versus IT, right? The old world where we had business and then you went to the IT department and the IT department chose some software for you. I don't think that this is leading to success anymore. And there we come again with the digital mindset. It's about collaboration. It's because in how we work together today with our IT partners. So first of all, I ask my business people also to have a better understanding about the IT processes. So the IT knowledge, training and knowledge needs to grow to understand that better. IT needs to understand more business, but in the projects, we are together as partners, together responsible for the success. And if it's failing, we are also both accountable for the failure of the project. So we have basically shifted the mindset how we work on this project. So it's not like you and us, or you and they, whatever, but it's like we together work on this one, and we want to make this as a project team, whatever, we want to make that together successful.
So from what you have said now, IT should be trained on quality and regulatory affairs to understand how it is working.
I do training sessions, yes, with our IT people, where I had a session recently with our risk managers, where they walked them through how they do risk management, because they wanted to try to understand that better and see also what is the opportunities for to bring digital tools in this area. And it was a dedicated session about risk management. Yes.
Good. I mean, it's a good progress.
Because otherwise, also other vendors are coming in and saying, of course, they will always say, our tool can do everything. It's the best tool. I've never heard a vendor said like, no, this tool is really, our tool is not great for this, But my competitor, he has that great tool that would do all these magical things for you, and it's much cheaper. So maybe you want to go there. No, of course, right? But to do the proper assessments, you need to have the right knowledge.
Agree.
I was actually just thinking, like, when you said that, like, IT and digital, if you just look what happened in the pharma industry 10 years ago, what a lot of the CEOs did, they defined a chief digital officer, CDO. There was a new role, 2014, the first one started it, on purpose because they did not believe IT would pick it up. And they installed a group in there to disrupt. And what was interesting is they got these people all from different industries. If that was good or bad, I don't know, but people from Google, from Coca-Cola, from Nike were pitching up in these companies, not having a clue about the products, right? Never been in pharma, but just to kind of move the needle. Kind of thinking like maybe it's something has to happen that, from executive leadership, they make a statement and said, right, if they're committed top down, that's probably the way it can work.
Good. Any question? No?
Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Don't be shy.
So maybe a question on the AI-based literature research that Denise talked about. So great idea. I think this is really good application. But I think a lot of what organizations or manufacturers would then see as a challenge is the validation of such tools, either given by a quality manager or an external auditor. How would you react to that?
No, I mean, you're absolutely right? You have to validate the tools you're bringing in-house, and auditors even get more nervous if they hear AI on top of that, right? So yeah, it's something where we support right now. If someone wants to use it in-house, we had to go through the cycle ourselves, right? Because we're also certified. But yeah, no, it's a real thing, right? That everything has to be validated. But I think like the opportunity we as an industry have, I feel like Medtech has a better sense for that this actually needs to be done, right? And I think when we were talking to some of our, customers, we were exactly getting these questions. So they're asking the right questions to validate what they're bringing in-house. From my experience, like 10 years ago at pharma, no one was asking a question. You had scientists sitting in front of you, right? They experiment, they do stuff. They have never seen a specification. They didn't know how to kind of describe their user requirements. But I think, yeah, if you want to do it right, you have to ask these questions and see how you bring it in-house. If you really want to implement it yourself, right? No, well point.
Maybe just by raising hand, I don't know if you are okay. So who is afraid of AI to maybe the industry or to the regulatory or maybe even to losing your job because AI is here? So who is afraid? No one? Interesting.
We have a very innovative participants here at this conference, Monir. So.
I mean, we see a lot of people saying that AI will, take our jobs because they will tell directly to manufacturers what to do, so they don't need me anymore to help them. ChatGPT, I will tell him, how can you write me my technical file? Here are the information. Can you write it, etc. So at the end,
please, ChatGPT, write me the technical documentation according to Annex 2, and please also then add Annex 3, the PMS plan and the PSUR based on the MDCG template. and please submit to the notified body. Yeah, I think that's not going to happen soon.
You know, I think it's interesting, or it's important to understand what AI is capable of and what not. And a lot of people, for example, in the context of post-market surveillance, where you have to collect a lot of different data sets from different sources, they often ask us, isn't there anything that we can do with AI? And I said, well, Denise, you mentioned it. Have a look at the data and the quality of the data first. I mean, using AI for post-market surveillance is, at the moment, far away. So first, we have to do our homework. We have to digitalize other processes first. And this is the content of the technical documentation. So this is where we are now. Maybe next year, we have a different perspective here. We don't know.
Okay. Any other perspective on AI, maybe? No? Okay. Florian?
Yeah, just one comment to your question. I think I'm more afraid of the people that are using AI that don't know how to use it than of AI itself.
Okay, no, I think it's a good point here. Yeah, I think it was you, Markus, who told that you have to teach people how to use some tools, and if they don't know how to use it, I mean, at the end you put garbage in, garbage out. So I mean, it's that.
Yes, exactly. And I think to your question, like where I see ourselves is right. We need to get the data quality, and I think Denise, you alluded to that one. You can have the best algorithm in the world if you don't have your data foundation in order and clear rules. The AI will not magically sort out and find the data that you are missing and do something to this, right? So it starts with the hard work to properly define, collect, and put that data foundation into place, and that pre-step needs to happen before you can think of how can I now start analyzing that using other tools.
Good. Anything else? We are okay? Okay, so thank you very much. I think it was a great session. So thanks also for the panel about all the answers that they have provided. And yeah, I think we are making the closing here. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thanks.